Yes! Hello and welcome to Someone Else's Story. I am back in the country and some of you didn't even realise I'd gone. It's okay, more on that later. But this month I'll be talking to my very good friend Rachel Bond about how our jobs and lives have taken us to different parts of the world and country and how we find a sense of home. We're here! Rachel!
Hello.
Welcome, you're so tense. This is really funny.
This is ridiculous.
I'll never get tired of making my friends get really tense when I ask them questions. Yay! Welcome to Someone Else's Story. Thank you
Thanks for
joining.
having me.
Thanks for being here. So, as I mentioned in our cheeky little intro, we travel.
I mean, you travel.
I mean, you travel. Okay, so I just got back from 5 months South Korea with School of Rock, the musical, which was very fun. And your life has taken you places.
A few places.
So we met, I say growing up. I was
mean,
growing
you
up,
were
you
growing
were
up.
you were grown. You she
was-
grown.
I mean, there is a 9 year age.
Don't say it on camera, it's okay.
Okay, we can.
Fine.
Well,
But I also look old enough to be her
edit.
dad. You can edit that out. We'll just
I've got it now.
it's in. So we met growing up, I was growing up in
Yeah.
Welling, South East London.
I was your youth leader.
And you went there, you're welcome. And then you left me, you abandoned me
I did.
to go to,
Cambridge.
and then to,
Penge.
and then to,
Derby.
lovely. So what is it, tell the people at home what it is that takes you towards these far-flung places.
So, my husband is a vicar, as you
Yeah,
know, the
he is.
lovely Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Hi. Yeah, so we first moved away to go to Cambridge. That was for him to train at uni. He had to get a degree. And then we moved to Penge in South London for him to carry on training, but like the more practical side of training. And then he got his first, like, I suppose, official role as a fully qualified vicar, although he is an associate, and that took us to Derby.
Da, da, da. That's where you are currently,
Yeah, that's where we are.
possibly with moving on more.
No, I think it's looking like we're going to be there quite permanently, then
Dream.
we might move within Derby.
Dream.
But yeah,
Still more
Derby's-
movement.
Derby's our place.
So how, the whole kind of idea for this month's interview is to talk about what that's like, the good points, the bad points, the ugly points, and also then kind of figuring about where we find our sense of home.
Yeah.
So how have you found it each time you've had to move?
Wow. I think the first move was probably the hardest.
The first cut is the deepest.
There you
Welcome.
go. Thanks.
Sure. I went
Yeah,
there.
so that was probably the hardest one, just because I think both Andy and I had grown up in the same place where we're both from, and so that was like the first break away from all that we'd known really, and yeah, so it was leaving behind everything. And then I think we were in Cambridge, which is like quite an unusual city really. It's obviously very academic, it's touristy, it's quite different from London in lots of ways, and it was just really hard to find my place there, as well as everyone that we met who was at college. They'd all been to university, lots of people had travelled, nobody had kind of lived in one place. You know, it was like me and Andy were those people
The
that
only
had,
people that
yeah, so we felt quite different there. I think that was the hardest move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so also for the record, your family are all very much still based, so both yours and Andy's.
Yeah, most of them are. I mean, there's a couple that have like strayed off. Like my
Those strays. So then, was there a certain aspect of, did that, how much, to what degree was that a big part in that first move being difficult? Or is that really not a thing?
No, it was a thing.
Just on the table.
Because it's not, I think that's always the hardest thing about moving, is that your family aren't there. And I think I thought the hardest thing would be making friends,
Yeah.
but actually it wasn't. It was kind of, I suppose there's a few things, like leaving family is hard because you can't just hop around for a cup of tea anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
But also making friends was easier than I thought in some ways, but finding my place in in a place
Yeah.
was harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Or maybe not harder than I thought, it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The family thing only just occurred to me because I realised that whilst, no, as I say, I've travelled, it's been for work, and I've always known how long I'm going to be gone, and I know where my, like, you know, I go back to my family at the end. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. Difference in the two things. Talk about finding your place in Cambridge.
In Cambridge. Cambridge was funny for us because, so as we arrived, we had like a week of just unpacking the house and stuff. And it was like, oh, this is new and great and quite exciting. And then Andy went off to uni and I was working in London. So I started this new commute, which was like double what I was doing. So like an hour and 40 or whatever. And we got home that first day and we both burst into tears, like, what have we done?
You guys!
Why did we leave? It was so hard. But actually, as time went on, we kind of were like, you know, the new routine and things calmed down a bit. But for me, I think things changed because I couldn't be part of this. So Andy was at Vicar School and I couldn't be part of that community because I was working in London. So I was out from 7 till 7 and you get home and I didn't want to go to anything that they put on for the partners of the people training because I was knackered. And then I got pregnant with Tibby.
Hi Tibby, where are you? Hi.
And so I was still commuting whilst I was pregnant, obviously, and then I left my job. So yeah, it was at that moment that I got to know some of the women a bit better. And one person in particular who she was like, you know, let's go out for coffee. I think she didn't work and was struggling to find her place as well a little bit. And we both kind of, this sounds really bad because we're vicar's wives, but we were in a coffee shop and we were chatting and it was like, oh, I'm finding church really hard. And we kind of had that conversation because we were both really struggling. And I love that, you know that C.S. Lewis quote that's like, friendship is born at the moment, where you kind of say to the other person, what, you too? I thought it was only me. And we had one of those moments and I love that. And it's as you kind of have a moment like that with someone that you go,
I'm not alone.
I'm not on my own. And I think that's it. And that was the start of a really great friendship. That's still going on now.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah.
So then those first experiences in Cambridge, the moves you've done since, has it been exactly the same, or do you feel like you've vaguely known what's coming from a point of how you're going to feel and what you need to do to help you in those situations?
I think, so obviously, so we moved from Cambridge to Penge. I found Penge really hard, as you know. But when we moved from Penge to Darby, I remember finding myself going, how did I make friends? Like when I moved before, I had to like question myself. How did I do it before? And it was that kind of thing of like, actually it was having a moment with someone, getting to know a person on a deeper level. So for me, it was like trying to make that real effort with the people that you had a bit of a click with. And then being like, right, I'm not just going to let that slide, let's go out and have coffee. And I think the thing I really wanted to do as we moved into this new place was like, let's have coffee. I want to hear your story. I want to know where you come from and what's been going on in your life. Like, what has got you to this point? Why are you here?
How did this happen?
Why are we both in Derby? And initially it was like people because a bunch of us moved up together, like we didn't necessarily know each other, but we all moved together to start this new church that you know about, obviously. So initially it was the kind of some of the people that were on the team that I thought, oh yeah, I really want to get to know you. And then you kind of have the, what's your story, and kind of chat. It's like, oh, you suddenly feel known. I think that's the biggest thing for me, feeling known and like you're not hiding part of yourself.
To what? So, for viewers at home, whilst you were at Penge, you had your second lovely little.
I did have my little boy.
Cherub.
Yeah.
To what extent did a move with 2 kids change the moving experience? Does that make sense? Apart from being crazy stressful because now you've got screaming children.
Yeah.
In terms of getting settled.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Does that make sense?
It wasn't terrible. I think it made it more emotional.
Yeah.
I think that was the hardest thing. So with Tibby, she really loved her school in Penge, but she's pretty sociable and she's good at making friends. And so, although I felt quite worried, it was probably, I probably worried about her more than I worried about anyone else, because Caleb was only 2 when we moved, so he didn't, he had one little friend, this lovely little girl, and like watching them say goodbye was like heartbreaking.
Not here
I
for
mean,
that. I would have been a mess.
we all kind of went out, me and her mum had coffee, and it was kind of like, this is it. We've got pictures of like him and her having a little cuddle, and he's like playing it cool. I'll show you the picture later.
I'm so really
but when leaving them, it was like devastating.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Tibby, like trying to get her into a new school, which is much easier in Derby than London.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of sending her off for her first day at school. She's the new girl in like year 1 or whatever it was, and yeah, I felt so nervous all day, just waiting to see how it went. She was fine, as you know Tibby would be. She was totally fine, and we did have months and months of, oh yeah, things are great. I really miss my old friends. I mean, even very occasionally now, and it's been like 2 years, she'll be like, I just miss my old friends. It's been 2 years, I'm surprised you can't remember what they look like.
I don't remember what your friends look like.
That's me.
Bless the kids.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the best thing about being able to move around the country?
In some ways, I don't feel like I've moved around that much, but that's probably comparing myself to other people.
Right.
I suppose lots of people will stay in the same place, won't they, for a long time. I think the hardest thing, we always say it, me and Andy, obviously we live in Derby now, it's like 3 hours from family. That's the hardest thing, that our family aren't there. So, for example, and it's not just about babysitting, obviously.
Promise.
I mean, that would be me. It's not just about that. Like, you know, the kids love seeing their grandparents, and obviously we don't get to do that as much, and aunties and uncles and all that stuff. And, you know, you rely much more on phone calls and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, so like, for example, this weekend, as you know, the crazy dance show weekend, it was like, I've got to be with Tibby
That's
for
how
like...
we'll go down in history as, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't even think about it. But not right now.
We'll gloss over it.
It's too soon. But yeah, so like, when it was like, I'm going to be out for like 9 hours, and he's got to work. What do we do with Caleb?
I mean, to us, what did happen to Caleb?
Well, exactly. So, I mean, me and Andy are kind of student pastors at the moment. He is more than I am, but I'm helping out. And one of the lovely students babysat Caleb for like 5 hours. She put him to bed and everything, which is amazing. And then Andy's boss and his wife took him the next night and put him to bed at their house and stuff. And it's having people like that around. Yeah, like, yes, we miss our family massively. That's the hardest thing about moving north. It's Midlands, but everyone thinks
it's north enough. It's north of Highbury and Islington, it's north.
Well, this is the thing. Like,
practically Scotland to me.
That is like, it's totally a southern thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anywhere like slightly, well, north of London really is like, oh my gosh, you live in the north.
What is it like going back? Because this is something we've spoken about. I'm going through it at the moment, coming back from 5 months in South Korea, thank you. Yeah, how do you find it?
I want to know how you find it coming back from South Korea. Your dad did it, so am I.
I'm going to flip the questions round. Adrian, what did you start?
Mr. Horton.
It's lovely. It's odd. Like, not only in terms of surroundings and climate and ways of living, but I realised it. I was having breakfast with my brother's godparents this morning. Hi, Val and John. But they also used to live in Welling and had moved away.
Yeah.
And we were talking, I said to them, is it weird when you come back? And we kind of said it's the thing about you go away and you experience things, and you come back expecting everyone else to have all these changes as well, but they haven't. They've said, and that's fine, no one should, but it's matching up normal with quite severely changed. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I've had some crazy life experiences and learned lessons in the past 5 months. So to then come back and you almost like a slightly modified jigsaw puzzle trying to fit into the same jigsaw space
Yeah, that's a good way of saying
that
it.
you left. And so it's just negotiating, what do I change on me, what do I change on the space around me? Does that make sense? That was very metaphorical. I'm doing very well.
Good.
Um,
I'm impressed that it was there.
Thank you, straight out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I describe it. How about you?
Well, it's not going to be quite as...
I mean, feel free to nick the jigsaw analogy because
I feel like a jigsaw. It doesn't feel like home, I think. And it's quite sad in some ways because it is like where your family is, where my family is. But I couldn't imagine myself ever being back there. And I don't know if it is because I've experienced different things. I think partly where we are now in Derby, we have like beautiful countryside. It's not to say that you don't get that in the south, but I think we're like, I mean, we're like half an hour from the Peak District. We go walking at the weekends. Like our lifestyle has become different to how it was when we were in London.
Yeah.
Like you can walk down the street and strangers will speak to you. And I don't know, it's friendlier, it's more relaxed. I feel like I don't want to say I feel like a different person.
No.
I don't feel like a different person necessarily. But I don't fit there. And I'm like a jigsaw.
Yeah, I'm like a jigsaw piece. That's going to be the title of this video.
I don't fit back where we were before.
From an observational point of view, I remember visiting you in Cambridge and being like, Toto, you're not in Welling anymore. Like, it was, I felt like you found your place in Cambridge quite comfortably, and Cambridge is very different to Welling.
Yeah.
So then, when you moved back to Penge, is it fair to say you never felt quite right there because of surroundings, because of lifestyle that comes from being in London? Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, well, I think there was so many reasons that we never settled in Penge.
Yeah.
I think it was things like, obviously I got pregnant with Caleb there and I was really sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, for
I
like 8
do.
months, it was ridiculous. So I felt like I couldn't really get out and meet people and join in and engage or anything. I mean, I did a bit, but it was hard work.
Yeah.
And I think it was always going to be temporary.
Yeah.
So that probably didn't help. And then I don't know. It was just, I think it was probably a combination of those things that just meant, yeah.
So then moving to Derby, I felt you feel whenever I visit you in Derby, I'm like, this is where they're at. Like, it feels settled. It feels great.
It does, and it was weird. I think what was quite weird for us was Derby happened like that. I don't know if you remember, like we were looking at where we were going to go next and a few things fell through, and then we got an email a few weeks after everything fell through. And it was like, do you want to meet with this couple? They're going to Derby to start this church. Do you want to go with them? Like, not do you want to go with them, but have a meeting.
Jump in!
It was just head off, no. Like it was set. We went and had a meeting with them. And I was even saying to Phil, the guy who kind of runs our church last week, I was like, I just can't, I'm so grateful that on a whim, on like a dinner that we had together, they trusted, him and his wife trusted us enough to be like, yeah, we want to work with you.
Could have gone
I
so
mean, it could have
wrong.
been terrible, but it's worked out incredibly. And it's just, I'm amazed. And I think it's people like them and other friends that we've got and kind of the community that we're in has just meant that it felt like home. Like, not quite immediately, but it wasn't far off.
Yeah.
And it's just really amazing. Yeah.
So talking about it feeling like home, how would you, and talking the idea about where you feel home. So for me, home is very much where my family is. That's kind of where I feel when I go, I come back, and that's very cool. How would you say you get your sense of home? Where'd you get that from? Is that a case of now that you and Andy and Caleb to be like a family unit? Is it from that or?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously for me, it sounds bad. It's not my family. They're not there. I'm kidding. I love you, really.
Sorry, Sandra.
I think it's something about being known in the place where you are. I think
everybody knows your name.
yes. I mean, it's Cheers, isn't it?
It is.
Like it's like when Joey's like, I miss home.
Yeah.
Cheers. Or just a little friends
And reference.
thing. I mean, we couldn't not, could we? And people that are like they're there for you as well. Like I think that's one of the things. There are people that are there for us, like family. So it's although they're not blood, said it again, not my blood relatives actually. I think we do have a sense of family, and there are, you know, it's amazing how quickly, like we've only been there for 2 years, but there are so many people that we feel like are part of our family. Which is lovely actually, like,
It's very
and I think there's something in, like, it's not just meeting other couples or, you know, whatever, like single guys and couples that aren't married and couples that are married and, you know, whoever, like our kids adore the people that are in our lives and they adore our kids as well. And I think that kind of sense of being family together, not just the four of us, but like including other people in our family, which I think is something that we've wanted to try and do.
You guys, in doing the move, you were able to root yourselves in a community
Yeah.
that you didn't know, but that strengthened your family unit
Yeah.
by also adding other people into it.
Yeah. It's like we see you as family, really. I mean, your Uncle Sam.
Just distant Uncle
Just
Sam.
distant, but I mean, we're going to see Frozen 2, right?
Yeah, we are. This is
With
my
Dominic.
next. I'm quite excited by that. This is my next travel will take me to Loughborough.
Which is like, what, 40 minutes from me?
Not even. So
There you go. So we have our family trip, me, you and Tibby, to see Frozen 2.
I'm gonna wear a tiara and I can't wait.
Oh, you? I'll have to get Tibby to wear one too. I mean, maybe I could do. I'm not sure.
Damn it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Let's do it.
Well, thank you for joining me,
You're welcome.
Rachel.
Thanks for
My
having me.
little jigsaw piece. God bless you. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed kind of hearing us riff on traveling and home and family and living the dream. Stuff. Just do time with Sam and Rach. Yeah, and have the best time in Derby.
Thanks. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. I can't wait. See you there. Bam! And thank you. And we will see you for another Someone Else's Story soon. Bye.